I am here on the corner of Front Street and South Broadway across from City Hall. Today we're going to make a few stops all over the city and chat with their recently elected alderpersons. Welcome to the Mayor's Corner. I'm Mayor James Boyd. In each episode of the Mayor's Corner, we plan to take you to explore a different part of the city of De Pere as we discuss the latest happenings in our city. Plus, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at various areas of city government. Most of all, we want to show you all there is to celebrate about the great city of De Pere. We're doing things a bit differently today. Instead of one interview and one location, we'll be making stops all across De Pere today to chat with re-elected alderpersons. First stop, of course, is District 1, where we'll find re-elected alderperson Amy Chandik Kundinger. Hello, and thanks for being with us today, Alderperson Kundinger.
Thank you.
All right, this is great. So, where are we in your district, and why is this meaningful to you?
Sure. We're in the picturesque Voyager Park in the heart of District 1.
Yep.
Definitely a crown jewel for our city, and even more, there's going to be icing on top of this beautiful cake in the near future with the Nelson Pavilion going in the next year.
Someplace behind us over here,
yes,
correct?
Replacing that little bathroom facility, yes.
Yes, isn't that exciting?
It
So
is.
This is the crown jewel. I think we just celebrated 40 years, had the 40th anniversary this past summer. So, how about a little background on yourself?
Sure.
Maybe why you got into this council alderperson stuff, and
Sure.
Take it from there.
Sure. So my very nature is to be very driven in communications and making connections. So I really enjoy the aspect of bringing the workings of the city to my constituents and vice versa. So I think there is a natural inclination for me to show up in places where development is happening or where there's a collective concerns on things and share that information back and forth. So that kind of drove me to wanting to be on City Council. It started in Plan Commission and then evolved into City Council.
That's right, you were a Plan Commission for a number of years and kind of got that going. So you are District 1, and there are 2 alderpersons per district, 8 total, and you represent with?
Shayna Ledvina.
Ledvina, so that's great. So what do you think? So you've been on since 2019. Could you identify maybe some accomplishments or some things that you would say, hey, this is kind of significant in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people realize the financial health that De Pere is in and also the position we have for future growth. And that makes me so excited. So when I think about things like the vibrant downtown that we already have and where we're sitting in this very part of District 1, when I think about on the horizon with the Shopko district and Front Street.
We'll call it Front Street property,
and
sure.
What's going to be happening there, as well as balancing the economic development with the high quality of life that we so enjoy. And that is always paramount to me. You have to have, it's a both and.
Sure.
They both have to be in balance with each other to make sure we have a sustainable future.
Great. Now, everyone gets a committee assignment.
Yes.
You are no different. So
Yeah.
what committees are you on?
Yes, I'm on the Board of Park Commissions and I'm also on Finance.
So Board of Park, obviously this is near and dear
Yes,
to you then, right?
yes. This project is very integrated into both of those areas, as you can imagine. But this project particularly gets me excited because, again, it's why I love being in my district. It's very involved with the community. Right now we have over 30 donors involved in this particular project, one of which the Nelson family has donated over $750,000 to make this project a reality. You too can still donate if you want to get involved. Then on top of that, we have use of things like our ARPA funds to help offset some of the costs. And then some of our city's budget is being applied to replace that building. So all in all, it's a really collective initiative to make something really valuable for our community.
Very good. So hey, what kind of things tap into your skill sets that you can work on for the city of De Pere?
Yeah, so one of the things I really enjoy doing with my role at St. Norbert College is business and community development. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed working with you on is working with the De Pere Chamber and the City of De Pere, St. Norbert College, and definitely De Pere is the State of De Pere Address,
Yes.
which features yours truly every year and showcases all the fantastic things that we have going on, not only in downtown, but in the business parks as well. We have such super healthy business parks. So that annual address is picking up steam, and it's a really good way to show the collaborative efforts of all these entities in our city, and I really love running that event.
And really engages the residents as well. And
Yes,
all those that are vested interest in De Pere
Yeah.
show up, and they like to hear that kind of
Yes,
stuff. So
and each year it picks up momentum. It's really fun.
that's great. So for that, I'm going to say thanks for all you do, not just State of De Pere, not just Alderperson, but
Yeah.
obviously the passion you have for the city of De Pere. It really shows. I like our relationships we have in the council,
Yes.
and I think we're going in a positive direction. That's really
Yes.
because of people like you. So
Yeah.
thanks for being with us today,
Oh, thanks for having me.
and thanks for all you do.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Now we are sticking here on the east side and heading to District 2, where we're going to meet up with Alderperson Hansen at Legion Park. Let's get going. Hello, and thanks for being with us today, Alderperson Hansen.
Thank you for having me, Mayor.
Great. Can you tell us where we are in your district and why this is meaningful to you, and why we're here right now?
Yeah, so we are at Legion Park, which is a wonderful park, has lots of amenities. It's very meaningful for me because I grew up in Alloway on the corner of Webster and Hoffman, and my best friend lived behind me, and so we used to bike down Clay Street all the time to go swimming at Legion Park.
Oh, you
So
were Parkies coming here,
I
huh?
was Parkies,
Yeah.
yes. Very popular spot for us, and then play a lot of tennis growing up too at Legion Park as a kid, and also meaningful because one of the things that I've really focused on as an Alderperson is making sure that Legion Park can continue to be a place for future generations to enjoy. So, we're moving forward with a new pool in 2026, which I'm very excited about, and making other improvements to the park. That playground over there is going to be replaced hopefully later this year. We'll have to see what the vendor's schedule, but fixing the ball diamond, so a lot of exciting developments here at Legion Park.
Really is. It's a jewel of De Pere. We have many very good parks.
Yes,
so
we do.
We have a little background on yourself, and maybe you want to expand a little bit more, and then maybe why you decided to run for Alderperson, and something along those lines.
Yeah, so I grew up kind of in a political family. My uncle served in the state senate for 20 years. So
Sure.
When I was growing up, I used to volunteer on his campaign, and he kind of got me interested in politics and government. And I've always loved helping people and trying to make a difference in the community. And I love being part of government and kind of using it as a force for good to help people. And I had the opportunity to intern in my uncle's office when I was a student at UW-Madison. So. And then, managed his campaign in 2016. And then shortly after that, I found out that there was an opening for District 2 Alderperson. Nobody filed for it. And so I ran as a write-in candidate and got 113 votes and got elected. And so,
How about that?
yeah, how about that? Now in my fourth term. So.
And now District 2, we have you, and then we have another Alderperson.
Yes, we do. Alderperson Pamela Gantz.
Pamela
So, yeah,
Gantz.
that's my
And
colleague.
you've been representing since what year?
2017.
2017. So that's just that's great. So let's kind of look back a little bit.
Yep.
So maybe something on some of the accomplishments or things that you feel pretty good
Sure.
about. Again, knowing full well that the Common Council 8, make a lot of decisions
Yep.
collectively. So what do we have on the plate that you would consider an accomplishment?
I'm really proud of the progress we made on the Southern Bridge. It's a project that's been first talked about since 1968. As you know, Mayor Walsh worked very hard on it for 24 years. But yeah, finally got federal and state funding, so it's moving forward, and I think it's going to really have a huge impact for De Pere. Residents in the southern part of the city are going to be able to get across the river much more easy. A lot less backups in our downtown. So really proud of the progress we've made on that.
Highway 32.
Highway 32, yes.
So another connection that'll be important to De Pere residents.
Yes.
And that's on the west side, obviously.
Yep. And it was a pleasure working with you and kind of working with DOT and the Evers administration to get that project moving forward again. Because it's supposed to be done, as you know, in 2016 and got delayed, but back on their list of future projects now, and I think residents are really going to appreciate once that's fully
And really good
fixed
example
again.
of, you represent a district, on the east side, obviously District 2, but, the Common Council, obviously is first and foremost the city itself. So
Right.
a classic
Represent the
example
whole
of,
city.
that's what we're there for.
Yep.
So there's some nice accomplishments, and obviously much more that, you could probably, hang your hat on in the Common Council itself. So how about looking forward? Any goals you might have or something you're looking forward to the next 2 years?
Yeah, so I'd love to see the Shopko site get redeveloped, and it was recently purchased by a private investor, so conversations are ongoing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes. And then South Broadway Street, especially between George Street and the roundabout, which is in my district, I would like to see that redevelopment occur as well, and then just continue supporting our small businesses. We've done a lot like with Facade Grant program during COVID, with Pandemic Relief Loan program, and so continuing to kind of support those programs to help them thrive throughout our city.
Yeah, they're the backbone of the community, are they not?
They sure are.
We do need them, and obviously residents are extremely important to us, but no good city is much without it. And then we have a lovely river running right through it, so taking advantage of that and the businesses is a great thing. Well, that all sounds great. So, thanks for being with us today. Thanks for all you do for the residents of De Pere, the businesses of De Pere. Clearly you have passion for the city, and that shows. So any parting thoughts before we part one another?
Yeah, just looking forward to continuing the momentum. I think we've made a lot of progress the past few years, and I'm just really excited to keep working with you and my colleagues to keep moving De Pere forward. So
that sounds great. Thank you, Alderperson
Thank you, Mayor.
Hansen.
Appreciate
and
it.
now off to meet with Alderperson Raasch. Hello, and thanks for being with us today, Alderperson Raasch.
Well, thank you.
Glad you
former Alderperson Boyd, now Mayor of De Pere.
Yes,
It's my pleasure to be here.
That's
one. I've been waiting to do this Mayor's Corner for like 4 years now.
Yeah, well, actually 2 years, but
2 years.
Yeah,
oh, okay. Well,
right around that ballpark.
It's been a long time.
But it's been a while to get you on, so we're happy you could make it.
All right,
so,
perfect.
So your district is District 3. So obviously this is not District 3.
Correct.
We're outside the fire station. We're outside City Hall. We're across from the Malva Cultural Arts Center. So why is this area important to you?
When I was thinking about this interview and we were talking about where do you want to do it, I thought do it in front of the Malva Center, which doesn't make any sense, right? It's not District 3. But really, this was the first big project that I was made aware of when I was on City Council early on.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that first night. You and I are the only remaining City Council members, mayor /
that were around during this time.
That were around when this happened. And so I thought, this is a great piece to talk about because it was one of those projects that we had coming that was going to have such a major impact on the city. And it's been a long time coming to make this happen.
And honestly, we didn't see this, did we?
No, we didn't
envision this by any stretch.
This is iteration number 47, I think, which is not necessarily true. But I mean, from what we first saw to what we have here today, very different, but still very impressive.
So really an alderperson represents a district. There are 8 of them. There are 4 districts, 2 in each district,
Correct.
4 on the west side, 4 on the east side. But in reality, they actually encompass the entire, they're making decisions that are important for the entire city, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first things that I learned in your predecessor was at the end of the day, it's all about the city of De Pere, right? So we can fight for certain things in the districts and whatnot, but the way I look at it is my decisions are more important to the city of De Pere, and my interactions with the people in my district are there to help them with a concern they might have with the city or services happening in the city to represent that voice. But overall, our decisions are for the benefit of De Pere as a whole.
That's great. And I do know firsthand that you are very responsive to your district. You respond to them in a timely fashion, and you'll do whatever you can for them.
Yep.
And that I have to make sure I recognize you for that. So, that said, how about a little background on how you got into this, why you got into this crazy, council, alderperson stuff?
I've been interested in politics for a long time, right? Probably just like yourself.
Sure.
I've always been interested in volunteering, giving back to the community. I was a youth coach in this city for a long time. I've done little things like that, and on the political side of it, I always wanted to be a part of it. So back in 2013, I actually ran in a primary in District 3, and there was 5 of us.
5.
There was 5 of us.
Wow.
I don't think we've ever
I
had
do
a
remember
primary.
that.
We've never had a primary like that since
Yeah.
I've been on council.
Right.
We had 5 in the primary, and I took 3rd. So that's not a good spot to be because only the top 2 go on to the main election.
Geez.
But then, unfortunately, after Bob Houlemans passed away in 2014.
Great guy, great alder.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And after he passed away in 2014, the call went out to somebody to replace him. So I, myself, and a couple other people went in, did some interviews with the mayor and other council members, and then they seated me at that time, which was an honor, right, to be selected, to be seated for that position, and I've been in that role ever since. But the nice thing for me about it really is getting involved in the city, helping projects like this, the pool, even little things like the bump outs on Grant Street that help people cross more safely, right? All those little things, all those little impacts that you can do, that's why.
That's your knowledge base, Grant Street, and we need that, we need that,
exactly.
that informative knowledge. Now, let's kind of look back. So you've been at it since 2014, so we kind of have that background.
Yeah.
What committees are you on or have you been on over these years?
I have been on License Committee. I've been on the Sex Offender Registry Committee. I think that's was the title before we disbanded it.
Which you just abandoned it, yeah.
Been on Public Works the whole time. Been on Park Commission, and also Plan Commission.
So you've been on a lot.
I've been on a lot of them.
And Park Commission and Plan Commission and Public Works you're on right now at this time.
Correct.
So some stuff you're proud of, some accomplishments that either you or you on behalf of the city or collectively the council that you can say, hey, this is what we did.
I think there's a lot of really good ones, and some are not big, right? The bump outs is one of those little ones, which is really cool. I think one of the other really cool ones that I've been involved with because of the parks is the VFW Aquatic Center.
Yes.
And additionally with the parks is some of the playground equipment that we put in place. I mean, we've got a chance to put some really cool playground equipment into some of our parks, like down at Voyager. And I'll be honest with you, I was one of the first people on that playground equipment the day that it opened up. Now I know that I'm a little old for it, right? But I was one of the first ones up there, and I remember when VFW opened up, the Aquatic Center, you and I were like the first people into the pool.
We were for the record. We'll probably have to flash back to that.
And we did have to do some races down the slides.
We did. They're time races. We couldn't do it together.
Yeah, that's right. They're time races. And then we also had all the additional sidewalks that we put in over on the west side. Going down Lawrence and some of those projects and some of the development stuff that we've done. And there's so many little things like that and big projects, right, all together, that have made such an impact in the city as a whole.
It's really, now let's go back to the Voyager Park Playground. That actually came from stadium tax excess revenue, correct? You and I were involved in that decision.
Yep.
Boy, we're really proud of that. It's just incredible. And then we just went through a process with excess, not excess, but ARPA money of $2.6 million, which I think kind of funneled money into about over 20 projects, right?
Yes.
That's pretty exciting too. And those are projects that'll benefit everybody for generations to come.
Yeah, and what's nice about that is there's a lot of input from the community on it. Some of it's public, some of it's behind the scenes. They're emailing, they're calling, or whatever there might be. But at the end of the day, those projects are going to do things that are long-term benefits to the city as a whole. And I think some of them aren't really sexy projects per se, but I think they're things that are really going to help the city from a development standpoint, from a quality of living standpoint, and even from just vitality of the city, right?
Sure.
Those projects are going to make a big difference in the long run.
Totally agree. Now, looking forward, what are some things you'd like to, I can't say accomplish, but would like to do in the next couple of years?
I think to continue to stay true to what I've always believed in, which is I really look at things that are more family oriented. I want to make De Pere a place that people love to live, work, play, and visit. And so a lot of things that are geared towards families, the parks, for children, give them activities to be involved in, different classes that we do through the Park and Rec Department.
Yeah, an incredible Park and Rec Department.
So, things that we can do from a senior community side of it too, to give them access to services and provide them places that, like kids, hang out and do things, right? To just build this community. The beer gardens, all this stuff that helps keep building community for the city of De Pere, that's the kind of stuff I really want to focus on. But I think we can't do that without development because we need the extra tax revenue coming in, right? So we really have to stay focused on some of that development that we've been talking about, and we have to keep pressing on that to bring that tax base up, not through increasing taxes on the people who currently live here, but by bringing more development in so we can generate more tax revenue that way. And those things will help keep those services strong. Like our fire department that was backing up a truck just a second ago beeping at us, right?
Well, he didn't have the memo that that's when we're going to film.
Yeah, well, but they are the fire department. We're not going to...
Whatever they want to do.
Hey, they got emergency vehicles for a reason, right? So.
Hey, speaking of one thing, though, that you're involved with as well, and I am as well, too, but the Nelson Family Pavilion in Voyager Park. Voyager Park and the Riverwalk have just been such a boon for the city. So any insight on that?
Well, I think... and I've been involved in that one from the start as well. That was an accomplishment yet 'cause it's not done, right? But I will say
something to look forward to in the future, yes. Yep.
But I think that one of the things that's really nice about how we're doing that stuff done at Voyager that's starting to become a destination. Beyond just, hey, we have a park and we have to celebrate De Pere and those other things, it's turning into something that's more of a year, not a year-round destination, but your primary months, right? Your the months that we get to be outside when it's warm out, you know.
Right.
I think that's what's going to make that special down there with that pavilion. I think that pavilion is going to be a gem as well.
Great. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Again, thanks for being with us today, Alderperson Raasch. Congratulations on your re-election.
Thank you.
On behalf of the city of De Pere, we really appreciate all you do. People and the residents don't always see through council and committees, but you are very actively involved in the city, and I believe your passion and you have the heart for the city, and that's what's important to you. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Great. And now off to District 4 to hook up with Alderperson Quigley. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for being with us today, Alderperson Quigley. Can you tell us why you selected this location as part of the shoot for the Special Mayor's Corner?
Absolutely. So this is my neighborhood. We're at Patriot Park.
Patriot Park.
And this is a great neighborhood for walking and biking. And so I've done a lot of walking in and around this neighborhood. And because I want to talk later about sustainability issues, walking and biking in the city are very, very important things.
That is great. So, so the residents know this is district number 4. We are on the west side, and you've been reelected. So this is your second term.
Correct.
So can you tell us, maybe give us some background on yourself and reasons why you got into this crazy thing called being an alderperson on De Pere's Common Council?
Absolutely. So my day job, I'm a teacher, music teacher, and currently I'm working in the Green Bay Public School System. And I've been teaching in different districts for about 30 years. About 10 years ago, my schedule changed and I had a little more free time. And at first I would go on the internet and I was very upset about politics, and I would just kind of rant and rave on Facebook and realize that wasn't doing anybody
So no
any
one's
good.
listening to your rant and raving, and you can
Correct.
get a lot accomplished. Okay.
So then the next step was maybe I could do some positive, some constructive steps in my own community. And somebody asked me if I'd be interested in running. So that was certainly a big step too.
Well, that's great. So obviously you were elected, to the first term, and now you're into your second term. Huge learning curve, I can only imagine.
Absolutely.
During that first term, can you kind of explain how that kind of evolved and how you got to a different comfort level and kind of understood the inner makings of how things happen?
Sure. Well, I would say I'm not done with the learning curve, so there's a lot of subtlety.
Nor am I.
Yeah,
Nor am I.
There's a lot to do. At first, I think it's really time intensive in terms of reading the packet. So before every meeting, we get the agenda, we get a lot of material to read through. And because you're brand new at it, you don't necessarily know what's important to really, really study, and there are other things that are slightly less important that you can skim a little bit. So I've gotten better at economizing my time and getting through the materials faster.
And I'm sure the relationships you've built, with the council itself and maybe other committees you're on, kind of gives you a comfort level as well too.
Absolutely. Just working with those folks, 3 times a month I get to meet with the different committees, and as I've gotten to know them, learn their strengths, and learn who I can ask for information and find out things. I would also like to add the learning curve greatly assisted by the city staff. So anytime I've had questions, or if it's a departmental thing, people have been very helpful and very generous with their time and given me the information.
Yeah,
that I
we
need.
can't give them enough kudos, and that goes for me as well too. So the help and assistance that we get to help us make decisions, or at least understand what we're trying to vote on, is very important. So you bring up committees, and I'm not sure on any previous Mayor's Corner regarding Meet the Alderpersons, we talked about assignments. So you're on the Common Council. What other committees are you on?
In addition, I serve on the Personnel Finance Committee, and that meets once a month, and Sustainability Commission, which is, for me, that's an exciting project because to me there's a lot to be done with sustainability issues.
So those are your 2 committees that you have. So sustainability is one. So was that something, sustainability, that you thought would interest you, coming into the council role as an alderperson, or is that kind of evolved, and how are your experiences with sustainability?
In my life, I've been very much interested in making smart decisions and living green and all the sorts of things that we can do. I didn't come onto the council with the intention of saying, I'm going to come to, fix all this.
This is what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Right. But as we were discussing committee assignments and I realized there was a sustainability commission, I asked to be put on that commission so that we can get some more people involved in the decisions we're trying to make.
And I think you have a lot of passion for that, which is great. So you've taken ownership. Now, in our most recent survey, sustainability was mentioned as something very important to De Pere residents.
Yep.
So that said, maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, or maybe some goals you have moving forward as an alder.
Fair enough. The first thing is, and this kind of gets back to my interest in sustainability, as you know, De Pere advertises itself as a great place to work, great place to live, great place to shop and play and all the rest of that. And I think for a lot of people, once you have those things covered in your life, then you start to ask what's next.
Sure.
And for me, again, I'm thinking about what do I want the world to be like for my children, for my grandchildren. And so sustainability is like, it's not the first thing you have to do, but it's perhaps the most important thing that we as a community have to do. The next piece is that I know there's a lot of businesses and a lot of individuals that are already doing great things, whether they have solar panels or transportation choices or things like that. My hope is with the Sustainability Commission, we can get more people doing those voluntary things. It's maybe small decisions. You might do a dozen decisions a day, but the more people that we can get doing those things, it certainly adds up.
So basically, we in Little De Pere can make an impact as well, and you want to help foster that and educate or put some initiatives in place. So
100%.
It's very, very exciting. So what do you think you've accomplished? Now, it's a very short 2 years. You're going into another 2-year term, so maybe just kind of, with the broad brush, just some accomplishments, and what are some goals you have going forward?
Accomplishment, and this is not a small thing, I've got a much better understanding of what the city does and just the complexity of all the issues that you and the staff have to deal with every day. I feel like I've gotten better at listening to constituents and being available so that they can find me and I can do what I can to help them. One thing I'd like to improve on is actually being quicker on the turnaround time, because somebody makes a phone call to me, I feel like I need 2 or 3 days to do the research and figure out what I'm talking about, and then I get back to them. So,
and I'm sure you've learned over the time that you know how to route things to departments.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's part of what we do. We're kind of conduits to get answers that the residents ask and they deserve.
Yeah.
That's great. So anything else that you want to add before we depart?
I did want to let you know, thank you so much. I believe I'm the second person with the last name of Quigley that's been on these shows.
Whoa, that's right.
So
Tina Quigley,
great
relation,
job.
not relation?
Not related. I've worked with Tina on a couple of projects, and I know she does great things with definitely De Pere. But keep going. There's a lot of Quigleys out there.
Yeah, no, we have a pretty strict 2 of one family only. So if we find a third, that's pretty much going to do it right there.
All
so
right, well.
I appreciate you, making us alert time. No, that's great. So the second Quigley, we're looking for more then.
Yeah, always.
Well, listen, thank you for your service for the residents of De Pere. I love it when people step up and then eventually have this passion and then realize that this city is important, not just to myself, not just to you, but to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you more. So, Alderperson Quigley, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We've made our way back across the river to City Hall, and now time for a few city updates. Spring is here, which means it's time for spring cleaning. Yard waste collection began April 24th. Leaves and grass should be on the curb no later than May 1st at 6:30 a.m. Brush collection begins on May 8th. Sticks and branches should be on the curb by 6:30 a.m. Monday of brush pickup week. 2 additional brush collection days will happen later this year. Our rubbish, large item, and metal and electronics drop-off site is open for the season. Visit 925 South 6th Street if you have large items for disposal. And lastly, our combo site at 655 Rockland Road is now open. Stop by 7 days a week from dusk until dawn. You may have seen a large City of De Pere RV around town. In a partnership between the City of De Pere Health Department, De Pere Fire Rescue, and the De Pere Police Department, the De Pere Mobile Unit will serve a variety of public health and safety needs. The health department plans to use a vehicle for vaccine clinics and much, much more. Police and fire can use the RV in case of emergency situations and use it as a command center. This is a special resource unit that we are thrilled to provide to all of our citizens. Finally, there's a new member of De Pere Fire Rescue. A therapy dog in training named Stanley has joined the team. Stanley is a 2-month-old Labradoodle who loves exploring the fire stations. Check out the De Pere Fire Rescue Facebook page to see future updates on Stanley. And that's it for this episode of the Mayor's Corner. We'll see you soon with another behind-the-scenes look at the city of De Pere and all it has to offer. I am Mayor James Boyd.